It was a crisp autumn morning as I walked toward City Hall, enjoying the quiet streets before the day's meetings. I preferred walking whenever possible because it gave me time to greet residents and see the city from their perspective. Wearing a simple business suit, I looked like any other professional heading to work. As I crossed the plaza, I noticed a police cruiser slowly pulling to the curb. The officer stepped out and approached me with a serious expression, asking if he could speak with me for a moment. I stopped calmly, assuming he simply wanted directions or assistance. The officer politely asked for identification, explaining that someone nearby had reported a person matching my description acting suspiciously. I understood he was responding to a call, so I remained calm and cooperative while asking what had been reported. While we talked, several people walking towards City Hall slowed down to watch the conversation from a distance. I continued answering the officer's questions respectfully, believing that clear communication would resolve the misunderstanding. While we talked, several people walking towards City Hall slowed down to watch the conversation from a distance. I continued answering the officer's questions respectfully, believing that clear communication would resolve the misunderstanding. The Escalade stopped at the curb, and my driver stepped out, holding a leather portfolio. He looked toward me with a puzzled expression before realizing I was in the middle of a conversation with the officer. Several City Hall employees immediately paused, sensing something unusual. The driver politely greeted me with, "Good morning, Mr. Mayor." The officer paused for a moment, clearly surprised by what he'd just heard. The atmosphere changed instantly as nearby employees exchanged astonished glances. Before anyone could say another word, the police chief arrived at City Hall for a scheduled meeting. Recognizing me immediately, he walked over with a friendly smile and greeted me warmly before acknowledging the officer. The police chief calmly asked Officer Carter what had happened. The officer explained that he had responded to a citizen's report and had simply followed standard procedures. I appreciated his honesty and professionalism during the explanation. I smiled and assured everyone that there was no misunderstanding anymore. I thanked Officer Carter for remaining respectful throughout the interaction and reminded those watching that professionalism and courtesy are essential in public service, no matter who someone turns out to be. After the brief conversation ended, the police chief invited Officer Carter to walk with us into City Hall. Along the way, he explained that every interaction with the public is an opportunity to build trust, regardless of who the person may be. Inside City Hall, employees greeted me as they prepared for the morning council meeting. Officer Carter looked around the historic building, realizing he had unknowingly stopped the city's mayor only minutes before. Before heading into the meeting, I invited Officer Carter into my office for a few minutes. We shared coffee and talked about community policing, public service, and the importance of treating every citizen with fairness and respect. Officer Carter admitted he had been nervous once he realized who I was. I smiled and reminded him that the badge represents service to every resident equally, and that professionalism matters far more than titles. As our conversation ended, we shook hands before heading toward the council chamber together. What started as an ordinary police stop became a meaningful reminder that mutual respect can turn a misunderstanding into a valuable lesson. The city council meeting began with a full agenda covering neighborhood improvements, public safety initiatives, and upcoming infrastructure projects. Officer Carter quietly observed from the back of the chamber, seeing firsthand how local government served the community every day. After the meeting, several students touring City Hall recognized me and gathered nearby with their teacher. I welcomed them warmly and encouraged them to learn how local government works, because every community depends on informed citizens. One student asked whether I had ever experienced unexpected challenges during my workday. Smiling, I replied that every day brings surprises, but patience, respect, and listening carefully usually lead to the best solutions. As everyone prepared to leave, Officer Carter thanked me privately for taking the time to speak with him instead of judging him too quickly. I reminded him that every professional continues learning throughout their career, and today's experience had strengthened that commitment. Driving away from City Hall that afternoon, I reflected on how a simple misunderstanding had become an opportunity to reinforce the values of professionalism, courtesy, and mutual respect. Those principles remain the strongest foundation for any successful community. The next morning, local news stations covered the positive outcome of the encounter. Instead of focusing on conflict, They highlighted professionalism shown by everyone involved and the importance of respectful communication between public servants and the community. Later that week, Officer Carter attended a community outreach event organized by the police department. He greeted residents, answered questions, and shared what he'd learned about listening carefully before making assumptions. I stopped by the event to thank the officers for their commitment to building stronger relationships with the community. Together, we spoke with families about public safety, trust, and the importance of working together. One young boy asked Officer Carter why he became a police officer. Smiling, he explained that his goal had always been to help people, protect community, and continue learning from every experience along the way. As the sun set over the city skyline, I reflected on how an ordinary morning walk had turned into a lasting lesson about leadership, humility, and respect. Sometimes the greatest opportunities to strengthen a community begin with a simple conversation. A month later, City Hall hosted its annual Community Leadership Day, welcoming residents from every neighborhood. I invited Officer Carter to join a panel discussion about public service, emphasizing that strong communities are built through cooperation and mutual respect.